Welcome back to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you. Another Kevin Samuels special. We're talking relationships. And unfortunately, Kevin Samuels had to have a conversation with a 29-year-old single mother who maybe had some unrealistic expectations as to why she felt she deserved a high-value man. I haven't necessarily seen this video before, so we'll be reacting to it as we go along. But I do ask that you like and subscribe, stay connected, so we can send you a lot more videos and reactions, in the future. So stay connected, and let's jump right into the video.
What are you willing to give up? Can Ndola?
Oh, you're asking me that?
Hmm?
What am I willing to give up?
Or do you have a question? That's the subject we're talking about tonight. Or do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, okay, what can a woman do to fix her situation? Basically after, okay, let's say she's skinny.
This is you? No, give me you. Is this you?
Okay, you're asking me what
I don't know, because when you start asking, can a woman, and then I don't like to do hypotheticals, so I need it to be more concrete. Are we talking about you?
Okay, yeah. Like,
well,
what
just go ahead and just say it then. Let's get to it.
Yeah, what would I have to do to better my situation?
How old are you?
Because, yeah,
How old are you?
29.
29?
Yes.
How old? Any children?
Yes, 2.
How many different fathers?
2.
Okay. Did you go to college?
I'm in college.
What are you studying?
Biology.
What do you plan on doing with a biology degree?
I want to be a dentist.
What's your classification? Freshman?
I'm a freshman. Yeah.
How long would it take you? How long is dental school?
It's gonna take 7 years in total.
So at soonest you would be what, 37, 38 years old?
If I'm 29 now, so 36.
37?
30.
Did you just turn 29?
Well, yeah, I turned 29 in January, so
you're almost 30.
Yeah.
Like I said, 37.
Yes.
See, what do you mean better your situation? What is the outcome you want?
Well, basically, I feel like dating right now.
Do you want a marriage? What do you want as the outcome?
Oh, okay. Yes, I would love to get married one day.
Do you want any other children?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Once you're married and pregnant, and once you're married, do you want to have to pay significant bills in the household?
Well, because
what percentage of a family of 4? Let's just say your 2 kids, your husband, you. What percentage of the family financial load do you want to have to be responsible for a life?
Yeah, definitely a major, because what percent would probably be over 50%. 50%. Yeah, 50%.
Well, here's the thing. As a 29-year-old woman with 2 children, by 2 different men, and going into freshman college, you don't have time for a relationship.
Virginia, we are counting on you. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election, but you can stop them. This is the responsible thing to do. It's also a temporary measure. Vote yes by April 21st.
When I started my record label, the business side of things, taxes, finance.
You really don't. I mean, and which one of your children's fathers is doing better than you?
Is doing better than me? They do well for themselves.
Said, what did I say?
Doing better than me. In terms of what way is better than
the way that the world
financially?
Yeah,
like
but
financially.
yeah.
They're both doing better than me.
Why didn't you marry either one of them?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, see, this is where you ladies end up getting around because you don't get to do better than your baby daddies. If you don't, I've said this for so long. Yes, you've already decided to go out and have children by men.
Mm-hmm.
You give a man the highest honor you give a man without being a wife.
Right.
And then a man comes down the pipe when you're older, more used. He doesn't even get the kids out of the deal and has to put a ring on your finger. No, thank you. Not a man of value. You get a man equal to or less than your baby daddy. And that tends to shock ladies. I say that all the time, but you don't tend to find women in the aggregate.
I don't think my kids' dad are bad though. So if I was to find a man,
they weren't. But did they want to marry you?
Do they want to marry me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. When you didn't want to marry them, so why should somebody come along and get with a woman who had children with men she didn't want to marry, and then she didn't marry them, and they don't get a kid? No, makes no sense.
So what can I do? Like, what should I do?
Nothing.
No, there has to be something.
No, you're done. You're done.
I'm
done.
Done.
It burns. Oh, it burns. Oh.
Done. Let me show you how you're done. Let me show you how you're done. How tall are you?
5'5".
Dress size?
Dress size 8.
How much did you weigh last time you weighed yourself?
180 pounds.
And I know dress size 8 and 5'5". That is every bit of a 12. I'm an image consultant in real life, and I can see the size of your face. Held up your hand. Wave. Wave.
Where am I? I'm in Florida.
I say wave.
Oh,
like
wave?
With your hand. Yeah. You got bye-bye arms. That is not a dress size 8. It's every bit of a 12.
Okay.
And see the fact that you'll come through here lying.
I don't think I'm lying though, because
I know you're not a dress size 8.
Okay.
I know you're not a dress size 8. And why is it important? Because just like the last lady I was saying, it matters. A man would come to marry you. He gets no children. He's got 2 kids, son, daughter, 2 boys, 2 girls. What do you got?
2 boys.
He has to go raise 2 knucklehead boys from 2 different dudes. He doesn't even get a kid out of this. And then he gets a woman who's almost 200
I said
pounds.
Maybe. It's a possibility.
No, it doesn't matter. He gets a woman who's almost 200 pounds and wants to be a dentist. So that means your life is not even going to be spent focusing on children. Your life is going to be going to undergraduate and dental school. That's going to be your focus. You don't go to dental school in your part-time. That's what you do when you're young with no children. But you're trying to do what you should have did when you were young with no kids after you've grown with 2 kids from 2 different dudes. And you ask what you can do to better yourself. What sucker would come along and take this and think this is a good deal?
Right.
So when I say it's done, what in your life, what in your dating life has shown you where men of value are looking to wife you right now, and since you've had your second child?
Mm-hmm. You said what man of value?
Yeah, since your second child, what in your life is what evidence do you have of men of value looking to wife you?
Looking to wife me? I don't know.
That means you don't. I don't know means they don't exist. I mean, if you want to be going to the dental school, it's a scientific mind. This is just about the probabilities, man.
Mm-hmm.
On a scale from 1 to 10, on a percentage, 0 to 100%, what is the percentage probability you think you'd have of getting?
100%.
The probability, not possibility.
The probability would be, I don't know.
That's unacceptable.
I don't know what you want me to say.
I want you as somebody who knows yourself and your situation to see if you have a realistic expectation of what's likely going
Of
to happen.
marrying someone.
What's the probability? The probably what probability would you give yourself?
As you can see, Kevin Samuels is going in on this young lady. I think he's being a little harsh with her, but he's being very direct, very straight. First and foremost, I don't think she's all the way coherent in this. She comes across a little hot to me. I don't know. I don't think she's taking this conversation very seriously. It's likely that she probably called to just troll Kevin. So I'm not really getting the sense that she's really listening with an open heart to really take his feedback back in. But he is being a little direct, a little harsh, a little straightforward. He's telling her what he thinks, and sometimes the truth hurts. His point is, it does not seem that 29 that she's taking life too seriously, because she admitted that she had children for men that she didn't really care for enough to want to marry. And if you are that, what's the word? I want to be sensitive around what word I choose to use. That nonchalant about who you choose to recreate children for, it's a judgment thing. It says that you're not the type of person that is taking things seriously, your life seriously, because you should probably give a little more thought to who you procreate with. And if you are going to procreate with someone, in terms of judgment, you should probably want that person to stick around, because you now have to raise this child, and you don't want a guy to be a touch and go type of figure in your children's life. So it shows a lack of planning. It shows maybe some naivety, or a little jovial in a bit. Maybe she's a little bit more young-minded than she ought to be at 29. And I think for Kevin, who has done a lot of these interviews, with women who have a similar mindset, I think his thing is, he takes issue with the fact that women will expect a better man than the ones they chose to have babies for. And then they will say they don't want to have any babies for the man that they think is better than the man that they had a baby for. Which means the guy who signs up for that would have to be okay with taking on that woman's bad decisions, poor judgment, and her children, i.e. butt baggage, but he doesn't even get to expect having his own child. So he's essentially the cleanup guy. And I think for Kevin, he's saying it's a bad proposition for any man who would be in the running for that. And it doesn't seem like this young lady has any sort of serious outlook on her life. I think she's personally a little intoxicated or a little zoned out in this interview. And I think he's just saying, look, if you were a mother and you had to, and your son was of age, and he could choose to be with a woman who was a single mother with a couple of children by different men, and who was kind of, had all these ambitions for her career and things of that nature, where he would be expected to sponsor her career, be the sponsor of the two children with two different men, and still have to deal with the drama that may come with that. Would you choose that for your son, or would you want him to start anew with someone who doesn't have all that baggage? Most parents would say they want somebody to start anew. So when he's asking her a probability question, especially with a well-to-do man who's accomplished a lot in his life, it's likely that that man has a lot of options, especially if he's established. And there are women without children that doesn't have as much baggage, or might have a more sound way of thinking, that may be a better option for those men to consider. So that probability question is meant to get her to at least consider that point. Doesn't seem like she's catching that drift, though. All right, let's continue.
I would give myself a once in a lifetime probability.
Out of 100 percentage points, I need a number.
75.
So you give yourself a 3 out of 4 chance, 75% chance of getting married.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, judge that based on the fact that 1 in 4 Black women can expect to be married in their lifetime. That's 26% of Black women can expect to marry in their lifetime. And you, a woman with 2 children from 2 different men, think you have a 3 times greater chance than the average Black woman.
Yes.
Why?
Because I feel like if you want to be married as a Black woman, you have a lot of opportunity. If you give the right person a chance.
Ma'am, 1 in 4 Black women can expect to marry in their lifetime. That's roughly 25%. You gave yourself a 75% chance. That means so you, a Black woman, almost 200 pounds with 2 children from 2 different men.
Yes.
Why do you think you have a better chance, a 3 times better chance than the average Black woman? And don't tell me why you think it's this. There has to be something behind that.
Because I know like women that had these same odds and they're married. So it's not a cut and dry type of ordeal. It's not like,
you guys understand. You understand what's going on here? This is what happened on Instagram the other day. Even the women who want to be scientists have a problem with reality. I said probability and possibility. Well, I guess that's the chance. Then I hope are you going to raise your sons this way too, on probabilities or possibilities? Are you going to tell them, are you going to raise them based upon facts, data, statistics, probabilities, and likelihoods and odds? Or are you going to just tell them, hey, somebody wins the lottery?
No, it's not even that. It's just that, there's a lot of factors.
There's not a lot of factors. There's not a lot of factors. There's not a lot of factors. You got 2 kids from 2 different men. You're almost 30 years old and 200 pounds. You're almost 200 pounds, 2 kids from 2 different men. There's not a lot of factors. It's done. Because you're not even dealing in the realm of in reality. Your attitude isn't even right. Even if a man of value was looking to have a wife, your attitude is shit. You think you're the prize coming through here talking like, oh yeah, I know women who did. That's why I just let this shit ride, man. Like, well, okay. And Black women, I want you to understand. This is what you're asking Black men to pick from. This is what Black men are being asked to pick from. So when I say the ground is open for competition, you want your cousins and your brothers to pick from women who, according to her 2 children's father wanted to marry her, but she didn't want to marry them. But somebody's supposed to come along later and give her the highest honor of being a wife. And they don't even get kids. You're delusional. But I get it. You got to lie to yourself to see. What I need you to understand, these women who talk like this, and I'm not going to say this is you in particular, but it's generally women who talk like this. They have to lie to themselves to ease the pain of the reality they know is facing them. You know the truth. You just don't like it. And you don't get anywhere in life by just sitting around saying, well, it can happen. When you ask me the probability or likelihood, and I'm like, well, there's not much that I can see you can do because you don't even necessarily know you want to have kids. So a man doesn't get a kid out of the deal. And then a man would have to come on and raise your 2 sons and get a part of a wife. You got to get a part of a wife because your primary focus has to be getting out of undergrad and dental school. That means a man would be coming over and getting a portion of a woman. So for a man to come over and do that, to get a portion of a woman, a 10th of a woman, you must be a hell of a woman because it will be better for him to go get a young woman with no children to be his full wife than just be your beta male sucker because he ain't getting shit from you. And the reason I can say it that way is because the attitude you came in here with, like, a man gets all this stuff from me. Okay. Yeah.
Video ends here. So here's how the call played out. A 29-year-old woman calls in asking how she can fix her situation and still get married. She reveals she has 2 children by 2 different men and is currently a freshman studying biology, planning to become a dentist, which will take years. She says she wants marriage, but isn't even sure about having more kids, while also saying she expects to handle over half the finances. Kevin immediately starts pressing her. He asks why she didn't marry either of her children's fathers, and she can't give a clear reason. He then breaks down how she gave those men children but didn't marry them, yet expects a future man to step in, marry her, raise 2 boys, and get no children in return. The call escalates when she confidently says she has a 75% chance of getting married. Kevin challenges that hard, comparing it to real world odds and pointing out how unrealistic that sounds given her situation. He also calls out her weight and how she presents herself, saying it directly affects her outcome. The call ends with Kevin telling her she's not operating in reality and that her mindset is the biggest issue holding her back. What this call exposes is how some women don't operate in reality. They move based on what they feel should happen instead of what their situation actually supports. In their mind, the outcome is still wide open, but real life runs on what's already been built, not just what's desired next. You can hear it in how women talk about marriage and the kind of man they want, while their current setup points in another direction. 2 kids, still in school, unsure about more children, yet expecting a man to step in and take on everything as is. That's not a light ask. That's a full situation a man has to accept without getting the same return. Choices like having children with men they didn't marry don't disappear over time. That becomes part of how they're viewed. A man looks at the full picture, not the intention behind it. Some of them don't really assess their position honestly. They lean on hope and exceptions instead of their own reality. You can believe anything you want, but reality still decides what you get. Fellas, stop listening to what sounds good and start looking at what's real. A woman can talk about marriage, loyalty, and building, but you need to look at her life as it stands today, her choices, her responsibilities, and the direction she's actually moving in. That's what you're signing up for. And most important, stay honest with yourself. If the deal doesn't make sense on paper, it won't make sense in real life.
I had the mute on. I couldn't said that any better. Shout out to my man who made this video, No Filter Doze. Go check out his work. He's doing some good work over there. Definitely support him. Shout out to Kevin Samuels, the late great Kevin Samuels, who I believe was a net positive for a lot of us. You know, he was trying to help people just take a look in the mirror and see that, you know, sometimes we have to adjust our expectations. And it's not to say that this young lady can't get married. I'm not saying she's not an ugly woman, but what Kevin was trying to point out is that she has such a her mindset is such where she just thinks that she can live and make maybe some poor decisions and that there isn't a consequence connected to it, and that there isn't how would I put it? There isn't high probability that those decisions will hinder her future. She seemed to be under the impression that even though 1 in 4 Black women get married, she has a 3 in 4 chance of getting married with more baggage than most of the women who don't get married. And as he's pointing this out to her, she's laughing. he pointed out her weight because it's showing that she's not being a good steward over her health. And men are visual creatures. We tend to look at the body. How you take care of yourself is indicative of how you take care of that man, or how you'll take care of your children, or how you take care of his children. So if you're not conscientious about what you feed yourself, if you're not disciplined in how you manage yourself and your health, it's likely that once that man comes into your life, you may get lazy and your weight will continue to be an issue, at which point the man may say, I'm not as attracted to you as I used to be, and potentially venture out. So when he points out the weight, he's not attacking just the weight. He's attacking the mindset that says, it's okay for me to present myself not in my best health to my man. And what he's saying is, given the baggage that you have to make sure all the other things are more buttoned up so that you can compete with some of the people that don't have the baggage. Right. So if you have some children, maybe you didn't make the greatest decisions in your past, be mindful of your weight, be mindful of your attitude and how you carry yourself. Show that you actually take your life seriously so that a man who is serious can take you serious. Right. And at least weigh the fact that you've learned, you've grown, and you become wiser as qualities that he can choose in his wife. But if he gets the sense that at 29 or at an older age, you still have a very young-minded mindset, and you're not really accountable for the poor decisions you made in the past, it's a good indicator that you may continue to think and act that way in the future, of which point he views his life as potentially being chaotic. And whatever he's worked for may be depleted by the fact that he chose a partner who isn't serious. That's what he's ultimately trying to say. But he's being very direct and saying it outright, without really mincing words. So that's my take. I hope I did a decent job of translating a little bit about this particular story. I don't necessarily believe what Kevin Samuel says, that there is absolutely no chance that she would get married. She can. There are men who may dislike her and who don't care, and they'll select her. But I think she calls in asking about appealing to a high value man. And what he's saying is the probability of that happening, given the fact that high value men have their pick of the litter. They can have a woman with no children. They can have women who are more fit. They can have women of different races because they're the 1 to 10% of men who are of a certain socioeconomic class and who has a certain amount of money. Then there's a certain amount of appeal that they have that most other men don't. So that means they have more options than the average Joe. So why would somebody with a lot of options choose something that isn't as appealing? And that's what he's trying to say. All right, that's it for me. If you guys are not already subscribed to the Intercourse Show, I definitely ask that you like and subscribe. What's missing in our community is your voice and your input. So definitely join the show. Stay connected. Weigh in. Tell me what you think about my commentary, about what you heard. Maybe you have a whole different point of view that might sway me to see things more your way, or might sway some other viewers. Weigh in in the comments. Let me know what you think. Obviously, it's late, so I'm about to shut it down. I thank you guys for joining me for the show, and I ask that you stay connected. Until we speak again, God bless. Y'all be well. Until we speak again later.